Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live. Before we start talking about the match that is going to be played tomorrow between Australia and England, let us first take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt condolences to Shane Warne and Rod Marsh, two former Australian cricketers who went for heavenly abode today. So, our heartfelt condolences to these two legends and, of course, to the entire Australian cricket fraternity and to the global cricket fans, of course. All right. So the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup, the 12th edition of which started today with the hosts New Zealand taking on West Indies in a nail-biting thriller that we witnessed today. Batting first, West Indies posted 259 for 9 in 50 overs, and in reply, New Zealand were bundled out for 256, falling short of just 3 runs. The match was over on the penultimate ball of the innings as West Indies bowled out New Zealand in 49.5 overs. For West Indies, Hayley Matthews starred with the bat as she scored 119 runs off 128 balls, while for New Zealand it was captain Sophie Devine who scored 108 runs, leading the run chase from the front. With regards to bowling, again it was Hayley Matthews who picked up 2 wickets for West Indies, and of course Anisa Mohammed also chipping in with 2 wickets. Whereas for the White Ferns, it was Leah Tahuhu who was the pick of the bowlers as she picked up 3 for 57 in her 10 overs. So this was in brief about what happened in the first match of the World Cup that was played today between West Indies and New Zealand. So now we have a couple of matches that will be played tomorrow, that is on 5th of March. And now we'll be previewing the second match of tomorrow, which is going to be played between Australia and England. And I have with me Dhanush Lavanya, who's a content writer at Female Cricket, talking to us about the match that is going to be played between Australia and England. It will be played at Seaton Park in Hamilton, and the match will start at 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. And you can catch all the live action on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar. So welcome to you, Dhanush.
Thank you, Julie. It's a great opportunity to talk about Australia and England, two sides that are tailor made for each other, the Ashes rivals, and any format, any irrespective of the gender, male or female, these two teams have been going toe to toe, going head to head, irrespective of the formats, T20, ODI test. And these two teams, the women's side, if I say Australia, 6 time champions, England, 4 time champions, and they have pretty much dominated the World Cup since 1973. And I am excited to see how this whole this match is going to be. And I feel sorry to Shane Warne and Rod Marsh. I guess those two guys were expecting a lot. We're looking forward for this match, and unfortunately, we missed them. And overall, coming into the match altogether, coming into this World Cup, England is a side who have been the defending champions, the reigning champions. They are defending this title that they have won. They won in 2017, and over the years they have had excellent cricket. But coming into this World Cup, especially, they had a really horrible women's Ashes in Australia. They were clean swept in every format. And the ODI series, if I say specifically, they lost it 3-0 to Australia. How is it going to impact the England team altogether, Julie, from your side?
Because so as you are talking rightly, Dhanush, about Australia's dominance and how difficult it is going to be for the England team to beat this six-time world champions Australian team, and of course not to forget they have 5 T20 World Cups also in their kitty. It is going to be a daunting task for the England team, and yes, they are not coming, in a positive frame of mind, if we can say so, going into this World Cup after that 3-0 defeat in the Women's ODI series that was played as a part of the Women's Ashes between Australia and England. But Heather Knight, captain of England, in the exclusive column for ICC, she mentioned that maybe they were not there mentally going into the ODI series that was played during the Women's Ashes, because first they had the T20Is, then the Test match, and then the ODI leg of the Women's Ashes. So probably they were not in the right mental frame of mind when they were going into the ODI series. And of course, not to forget, they are the defending champions. They are going to put up a strong fight in front of us. They are a well balanced side on paper, if we may see so. They have the likes of Tammy Beaumont right at the top of the order opening the batting. She has been the only English batter to score more than 1,000 runs since 2019 in the women's ODI format. So, of course, England will be more than happy to have Tammy Beaumont in form. She'll be opening with Lauren Winfield Hill. Usually we see Danny White opening, but she'll be playing in the middle order for England going into this World Cup. And Lauren Winfield Hill, as we saw in the practice match, warm up match, if we may say so, she scored a wonderful half century as well. And of course, we cannot talk less about Nat Siver. She is a world class all rounder. She has the ability to contribute with both bat and ball. She's a solid middle order bat and a right arm seamer. She can bowl her full coat of 10 overs if need be. And of course, the lethal combination of Catherine Brunt and Anya Shrubsole, which England certainly missed during that Women's Ashes, which could probably be the reason for their downfall in that ODI series. So overall, I feel that England team looks solid on paper, and it is only up to them that to perform well against Australia. But Dhanush, I'm sure that you may have thoughts about this Australian team. They are the world champions, six-time world champions, as you rightly mentioned. And with the likes of Elisa Healy firing, Beth Mooney also there, Meg Lanning, of course. So, how are you looking at the Australian team?
First of all, I will say, Julie, if you see the record of Australia post 2017 World Cup, that semi-final loss against India, the Harmanpreet Kaur's epic 171, it is a part of the women's cricket altogether. If we take out the history, that innings is going to be talked for years. And that loss was pretty hard hitting for them. It was a heartbreak for them. And I guess that one defeat against Team India has completely boosted this side and has made this side a complete different beast altogether, I will say. That 30 matches, if I'm not wrong, they have played after the 2017 World Cup. They have won 28 of that. They lost against England in 2017. They lost against India in 2021, if I'm not wrong. Apart from that, in the middle, in total, if you see, they have played like 11 ODI series and they have won 9 of these ODI series 3-0. That is super dominant against every single side that is there in this World Cup. I guess apart from Bangladesh, they have played every other team that is being participating in the tournament, and they have just dominated and outplayed every single opponent, home or away. And going into the World Cup, if you ask me, LSC Perry was a name that I was having the concerns because she was having a really horrible 2021. She didn't take a single wicket with the ball, and with the bat also she was having an average season altogether. But now, coming into the World Cup, she had a pretty okayish women's Ashes, and she had some game time in the warm up matches. She bowled around 7 overs in both the matches, if I'm not wrong. And the coach is also like saying that the team wasn't playing their 100% in the warm up matches because they don't want to risk any injuries going into the tournament. So I feel that coming into the first match, they will be all guns blazing, and they will make sure to uh, beat England, because the last time they faced England in the World Cup, they lost the match by 3 runs. They want that win back. And now I will ask you one question from my side, that is for England. It is Catherine Brunt and then the rest of the bowling unit of England is exceptional. They're experienced compared to the Australian unit. How do you see that bowling unit playing in this World Cup? How important the bowling unit is, because the batsmen they have really good batsmen. Nat Shiva, Tammy Beaumont have been really exceptional. But the bowling unit, how will they step up?
So first things first, England is again lucky that they have the services of both Catherine Brunt and Anya Shrubsole, who we may call the veterans of the game, if not the senior most players. But yes, Catherine Brunt, of course, is the senior most player. Anya Shrubsole, of course, walking shoulder to shoulder to Catherine Brunt. So that is a big plus for England going into this World Cup. But apart from that, I'll have my eyes on somebody like Kate Cross. She has been incredible in the last 2 years. She was unlucky not to be a part of the 2017 World Cup, though she was a part of the ODI outfit for England, but due to some injury, she was not a part of the 2017 World Cup, which England went on to win. Kate Cross is also the joint leading wicket taker since 2019. So for the last 2 years, she has picked up 39 wickets, which is the joint highest with Australia's Jess Jonathan. So that is again a big boost for England. And of course, Kate Cross' ability lower down the order, she can hit those big balls. And we have seen that what she can do in the 100. She also has the experience of leading the team. So I feel she's a good brain. She has a good cricketing brain, of course. Apart from that, I would be looking at Sophia Eccleston, who is one of the top T20I bowlers going into the world. And of course, the likes of Charlie Dean, who made her international debut, rather a comeback after many years for England when India took on England in the away series that they played last year in June, July. So I think England bowling looks to be quite balanced. They have the good pace battery in Siver, Shrubsole, Brunt. and a good spin attack in Eccleston and Charlie Dean. And let us see if England is able to restrict Australia, because as you mentioned about the beast awakening in this Australian team after that 171 not out by Harmanpreet Kaur. I'm sure after the kind of defeat that New Zealand gave them in the warm up game, I'm sure the wounds are fresh now and Australia will be raring to go in the World Cup. What do you feel?
Well, the defeat against New Zealand in the warm up games, it was a warm up match at the end of the day, and they weren't playing with the 100%. As I said, the coach itself came out and said the warm up games doesn't matter at all at the end of the day when it comes to the tournament. It is just getting your juices going, getting your fitness up, and getting that freshness into the refreshing yourself going into the World Cup, right? That match, like how the audience are making it, it shouldn't be taken as seriously as it is being taken, because see, New Zealand defeated the Australian side in the warm up games, but they lost to West Indies. It was a complete shocker, right? So let us not consider that match altogether. But coming into this game, like I said, they have an extremely good team altogether. Two names that I will take up is LSE Perry and Tahila McGrath. Those two women, the number six, number seven, if I'm not wrong, they are in the playing 11, and they are like the fulcrum of that whole team. When it comes to the ball, they both are going to be lethal, and when it comes to the batting as well, they will be managing the finishing role and making sure that Australia scores big runs or chase the score off pretty much easily, not taking it to the last over like how we saw New Zealand do in today's game against West Indies. So I truly feel that these two players are some of the names that you have to look out for tomorrow. And Alessi Perry is looking for the one big knock. If that comes up, I guess she will be going back to the player that she has been over the last decade over the last decade. And I'm really hoping that LSE Perry performs well in tomorrow's match. And Tahila McGrath, she's just 26 years old, and she has come into the side over the last couple of years, and she has been excellent with both ball and bat. And she is also like a replica of what LSE Perry is. So I'm excited to see these two women in tomorrow's game. And England's side, Tammy Beaumont was nominated for the ODI Player of the Year last year. She had an exceptional run over the last 5 years. I saw her record, and she has scored like 2,000 runs in last 5 years, and she has been the best player of the side. But Nate Shiva is one more player who has performed well in the warm up. She scored 108, and Heather Knight is someone who had a really good ODI series against Australia. Who are but the other women apart from these three have to step up, right? So what do you expect from Hill and the rest of the batting unit?
So I feel Lauren Winfield Hill, as we saw in the warm-up match, she was pretty good. So if Tammy Beaumont is taking the aggressive route, maybe Winfield Hill can play the second fiddle, and both of them, it will be important for them to give a good opening stand for England, because not just Australia, but there are of course many other bowling attacks that look lethal. And if we have to talk specifically about Australia, of course, they are a good bowling attack, and it will be important for Beaumont and Winfield Hill to give them with a good start. However, the job does not get over there. Then we have Heather Knight coming in, and she has been the backbone of England cricket team. She has more than 3,000 ODI runs, and we all know what she can do with the bat if she is on song. She has that ability to play those big innings. She has a couple of ODI centuries also to her name, in addition to over 20 half centuries, of course, in ODI cricket. Then again, England has the likes of Nat Siver, and she has been an incredible talent. She can play the spinners well. She can play the seamers well. She can bat in the middle overs well. She can be very good at the top of the order. So she's a complete package, if we may say so. So Nat Siver, so according to me, Nat Siver is going to be a player to watch out for because of her ability to contribute with both bat and ball. And finally, looking down to the bowlers again, England have to keep it very simple. They have played Australia many times. So if we look at the head-to-head statistics, both these teams have played 81 ODIs against each other. So I think that is one of the biggest encounters that we have seen in women's ODI cricket. Of course, not to forget the Ashes rivalry that they have. Sort of the 81 ODIs, Australia have won 55, England 22. But we should not go by the statistics that England could only manage 22 wins out of the 81. England are a far better side, and they have been doing well since the 2017 World Cup. Of course, they are the defending champions. So, yes, all eyes will be on England, and yes, they are blessed with a good side. And we hope to see a good fight, just like what we saw today between West Indies and New Zealand. Let us hope to see a good fight between Australia and England tomorrow. So, Dhanush, what do you think will happen in tomorrow's game? What are your predictions?
My prediction is Australia going into the match because they have that mental uh, betterment, or they have that psychological advantage, right? That is the word I was looking for. Psychological advantage against England. They defeated them, they clean sweep them in across all the formats in the women's Ashes just a month ago. So they have that thing in their mind coming into the World Cup, and they have a very settled playing 11, is what I feel. Alisa Haley, number one batsman in the whole world. She has been exceptional over the last couple of years. Meg Lanning, Rachel Hayes, and all the other players who are there in the batting unit have been exceptional. Yeah, of course, there will be the absence of Gardner because she is going to miss the first two matches due to testing positive for COVID. But I guess there won't be any issues for the side filling her role. And Tahila McGrath and Elsie Piri, like how I said, those two women are going to be the fulcrum, the bridge in the whole playing 11. And as far as the bowling is concerned, yes, the bowlers are pretty much young compared to the experienced ones in the England bowling unit. But I am excited to see how McGrath is going to be bowling, how Sutherland is going to be bowling, how Megan Scrute is going to be bowling, because these women are playing Australian cricket, and Australian domestic cricket is way too good compared to any other country, right? So they have the capacity in them, is what I feel. And in this game, I really am hoping that Australia are going to start off well, so that there is going to be that winning streak, finishing up with winning the championship at the end of the tournament. And according to you, how will England going to play against Australia? Because that thing, as I said, psychological advantage, right? That will be behind the head for England. How will that approach be?
Yes, I think the England will take it from the other side. So since they suffered defeat at the hands of Australia 0-3 in the women's Ashes, I'm sure England are going to come out all guns blazing. They are going to take their revenge because Heather Knight was pretty serious when she said that it was just because of the mental strength that was lacking, or mentally they were drained out compared to physically. This team has a lot of talent, there is no doubt about it. And as you rightly mentioned, that England bowling looks more experienced than Australian bowling. We have Megan Shute, Elise Perry in the Australian ranks, and of course Jess Jonathan. But then the other bowlers like Darcy Brown, Alana King, who just made her international debut. So these could be the weaklings for Australia. So I think I'm rooting for England maybe to win tomorrow's match. But again, it will be interesting to see what happens going into the match tomorrow.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So, any closing thoughts before we wind up the session, Nanush?
As far as going into tomorrow's game, if I talk both the games, Bangladesh, South Africa, and Australia and England, I'm expecting one more. What is that word? Upset. That word is making rounds right now in social media after West Indies upsetting New Zealand. I am expecting one more thing from Bangladesh because Bangladesh has that ability. But as far as the Australia England match is concerned, it's going to be neck to neck. These two teams know how to go till the last over, till the last ball, take it down to the wire. And I am pretty much looking forward to that exciting match tomorrow morning, and it's going to be really really good.
Absolutely. So, as during the start of our conversation, Dhanushu mentioned that Australia are the six-time world champions, England are four-time world champions. So, these statistics suggest that both these teams are big match players. They have big match players with them. They can perform at the biggest stage, and they are not afraid of performing in front of crowd. They have the exposure thanks to their domestic system, which is well established. So, it is going to be an exciting contest between Australia and England. So, all the viewers and fans watching this, England and Australia are going to play against each other. That will be the match three of this 12th edition of ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. It will be played at Ceylon Park in Hamilton, and the weather looks good. There is no chance of rain expected, so we expect a complete day of cricket tomorrow. Also, the highest score at that venue has been 307, and the lowest has been 96. So it will be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, whether it is a batter's game tomorrow or a bowler's game. So do tune in at 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar to catch all the live action between Australia and England. And yes, we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m., to preview the most exciting match, if I may say so, that is going to be between India and Pakistan on 6th of March. So all the fans, use the hashtag Female Cricket Live to send in your questions and do join us in the conversation tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you.